Hi. I guess I wasn't the voice you were expecting from this account now, was I? Hi there. I'm Backstage Science. And this is a bit of a behind-the-scenes video about how I went about creating my fireworks show for the song Gods featuring New Jeans. I found the song through TikTok, and I just kind of was like imagining a whole fireworks show to it, and little by little I was piecing it together in the free version of the software, which is called Finale 3D. It is a pyrotechnics design and show design software, and over the course of a couple of weeks I was like, I was really enjoying it, but because of the way Finale is, in the free version you are unable to save any of your work, and as such I would pick up the show every once in a while, work on it a little bit, and put it back down. And the people at Finale were very gracious, and this year for Pyro Jam 2024 they gave out a free pro version of the copy for anybody wanting to participate. And I went, absolutely. I wanna give it a shot. The problem became very, very quickly that I did not have the time to make a full 9 to 10 minute show as I thought I did. Apparently when you work retail, it takes a lot of time out of your week, out of your day, and out of literally everything. So I had to kind of give up on that, but my brain was like, I still want to make something. I still want to take advantage of having the full version of the software for a little bit. And so I was like, I can finally do Gods. And so I spent, oh goodness, probably close to 36 hours over the course of a couple of days throwing this together. I had so many friends joke with me that I was spending more time doing this than I was sleeping. This is the show here. So every little thing on here has a little bit of something to do with the show. So I'm going to break it down window by window, mostly with starting with the main one here, because it will give context to the other two. So zooming in here, I've got my timeline. Every line that you see here is an effect. Where this, there, you can actually see them. Where the little nodule is on the timeline, zoom in a little bit more, is when you'll see the actual effect. Afterwards is how long the effect stays in the air. And before it shows when it has to be launched so that you can get to its climactic point by the time you want it. So that's why some of the rockets, or the comets here at the bottom, they shoot off immediately, is because you see those immediately, whereas something like my pink chrysanthemums, they have to be launched a little bit sooner so that you actually see them on the beat that I wanted them. I basically picked probably the most fun, the biggest like boom boom beats of the song that I could like emphasize more with fireworks. Honestly, had I had the time, I probably would have done more. But I was at the point of where I didn't have any more free time while I still had the online digital software available. I'm currently in the offline version, which I've got for a couple more days, but that is it when it comes down to being able to fully work and do anything for the show. So each of these, if it is in red, it is a comet or a 2-inch variety effect. So similar to the blue chrysanthemums here, I've got purple chrysanthemums here. If it is a gold, that means it is at a 3-inch, which I will show on the screen here, of what a 3-inch versus a 2-inch shell looks like, just so you have an idea of the kind of things that I'm launching into the sky. And we got our silvery ones here, which are the 2.5-inch ones. And then I've got just a couple of different other varieties. I've got some mines here, which have also that similar variety in the 2.5 inches. I didn't use anything over a 3-inch shell, mostly because there is a whole little mathematical system that one can use to be able to differentiate. I'm going to put that on the screen so you can see the whole table breakdown of how you can figure out how high some of these are going in comparison to their shell the shell size. It also explains why I didn't really go with anything bigger than a 3, mostly because then I would have too many options, and I needed to limit the amount of options I had. So we've got our play buttons, our rewind. This allows me any type of control over here. On here, this is actually a really great one to show. It shows where all the launch points are for each effect beam. So this one is showing all of these for these 2 beats right here. I believe this is Play God. Yeah. So that will show where everything is about to launch from, and as I highlight them, it tells me exactly which one I'm highlighting. If I go from here and highlight it, it tells me exactly which effects will be highlighting from that particular position. It allows me to make sure that I'm not putting too much in one spot and overwhelming one particular point in the sky or in the show. You'll notice in Disney, if you see any of the big Disney shows, they kind of balance it out between both sides of the castle, so both sides and above the castle, to be able to balance out the show so it's not overwhelmingly in one direction or the other. It also helps making sure there's not as much smoke in one area. Going from here, we've got just our little controls, zoom in, zoom out, my locks. This allows me to control to move around my area here. And this just gives me a top-down side perspective of my show. Over here, my count is the amount of effects and points used in it. So I had 400 at the highest point when I had far more places knocked off in it. I had actually, I believe the highest I'd gotten to was 423. When it says selected, 1 selected, 2 selected, you can kind of select and move them around as you want. And then the price at the end, it actually shows you how much the show is running for. So in a competition and event like Pyro Jam, you have a certain budget that you have to stay under, and this price just kind of gives you an idea of whereabouts you are in your budget and how much more you can spend on different effects. Bigger the effect, the higher the amount. So ones that are similar to these guys back here, these are a cake. Instead of a single shot. Cakes are more similarly to what somebody might buy if you were going and purchasing fireworks for like your own like backyard events, which I don't entirely recommend. Fireworks are dangerous. Don't shoot them off in your backyards. But things like these would be far more expensive than things like these kind of deal. You're going to be spending more money on an effect like these than you would on an effect like these kind of deal. So yeah, that's basically all the breakdown. This gives me, where on the song I am, and then just all my different addressing and racks and scenery and whatnot if I wanted to change any of the backgrounds or anything. This program is used a lot for building shows that go about in like when they light up the bridge in Sydney with all the fireworks on it. This is a program they can help use to plan out all their positioning, so you can actually change it so like you can input the bridge into the software so you can see how high they go up above the bridge and all of that. Going on to the general effects, this basically lists every single type of effect that I had access to in this program. Finale's got a really great system and amount of effects you have. Yeah, look how tiny that scroll bar is, and look how little it's moving, and we are almost at 1,000. We have not even gotten out of the 2-inch variety. That's part of the reason why I chose to stay under 3 inches with a lot of mine, and a lot of the ones that I chose to go with. There's a lot in here. I don't actually know the amount. Let's have a look-see. Oh, that's 6,585 different resets. A lot of these, though, are like different moves and whatnot. But on here, let's go back up to the top, shall we? You can actually hit a little button here, and it shows you what the effect will look like and how long it lasts in the air. It also gives you the size of the shell, how much that one effect is, how long it needs to pre-fire to be able to hit the amount, the type of effect it is, its color, and then what its actual type is. So this is the type, so a shell. I'll put a shell back up on the screen, and then this subtype is chrysanthemum. Basically, that's a chrysanthemum. We can also have things like peonies, which that's a peony, or you can have a Delilah. Yeah, if you're realizing that there's a lot of plant-based ones, you would be very correct. There's a lot. There's so many, but there's all sorts of different effects that you can use, different color changing ones, all sorts of things. And then down here, this is my timeline. So if I pick a part and go from here, watch on this screen. Did you see as it passed by each effect, it actually lights it up on my script and timeline here, so that I can see exactly what number of effect that is, when it is going off, how long it needs to pre-fire, its time frame, and everything else that I might need. It also gives me the position, any tilt angle, so in ones like over here, it gives me what direction it's tilted in and at what degree it is tilted at. So yeah, there's all that sort of fun stuff in here. So I had a couple of questions that people had also submitted of things that they would like to know. One person asked, are each of the colors of fireworks chosen or are they random? So I actually chose to pick out every single effect myself. I knew that the League of Legends, it tended to have the blue and purple is more or less their color scheme, and as such, I don't know if you'll notice, most of my things fall under, whereas indigo, and if you were to pick purple as well, you'll start noticing that a lot of the stuff I picked was in this category of doing blues and purples and whatnot. All of the advertising for Gauze was all done in that color scheme, and as such, that was why I wanted to pick it. There's little moments, I believe there's one where it's like, the sun, I believe, is the word that is used, and I actually use a red firework in it, and it's the only non-cool toned firework in it. Otherwise, I also used silver and gold pretty well mixed in as well, because I wanted to have at least some sort of variation, and pink is as close as the other one that I did. So yeah, a lot of my colors are pretty well picked out. Another friend asked if I had used any TNT. Fireworks are explosives, but not all explosives are fireworks. Basically, there is absolutely no TNT used. Gunpowder, black powder, is used within the firework shells. I don't use TNT. That is, just because my certification was underneath the mining industry does not mean I use TNT. And definitely not in a show like this. And the last question I got was, how did I pick the effects? I kind of tried to pick effects that I enjoyed, that I thought would kind of fill, I don't want to say fill the sky, but fill the sky. Yes, he had a point, like I really filled the sky. But I was like, okay, I would like to have, I want to have as much purple spread as possible. Like here, I actually have it layered up so that there's chrysanthemums and peonies to help add more of that purple and more of that blue spread in behind the gold. Because I didn't feel like it was enough color in the in the sky. On top of that, there is like a whole bunch of different areas where it's like I wanted to have just something simple, just something to basically count the beats with. And so that's why a lot of the time I used a lot of rockets. This one, I wanted that popcorn crackle to finish off this section of the song here. I thought it would be a lot of fun, figured it'd be something a little bit different in it. There's also, where is it? This section back here at the end where I wanted definitely something calmer before I did the final true showing of having something where it slowly fills out and it slowly gives you something to look at before it shoots everything off once you're back and filling the sky with light one last time at the end of the show. So I tried to kind of balance out having the calmer moments with a little bit more, I don't want to say calmer effects, but ones that weren't as explosive in your face. And definitely going with things that matched the tone that I was hoping to hit with every single little spot in the song. I tried to fit them to the song as much as I could. I also took a lot of inspiration from their live performance So whenever they were using pyro in the live performance, I tried to light up the sky as much as I could. And ways that I was like, oh, that would look cool all together and whatnot. Had I had more time, this section would be one of the ones that would be a lot more full. This would definitely be a lot more full. Like, there is 31 effects in just this one section. I probably would have filled it more, to be quite honest, if I had the time to, like, individually mark out exactly where I wanted everything to go out, all the little rockets, everything. There would be a lot more than 30 in just this one end segment here. But yeah, that is basically the breakdown on how I went about doing this. I had a lot of fun doing it. I am going to work on trying to get an actual audio clip put together for next year for Pyro Jam, so I actually have a 10-minute song that I can work with and work to, and hopefully be able to fully participate. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it, especially learning a little bit more about maybe how this weird little industry of mine works. So, that's all for today, and I hope you have a good one. See you later.